Alright there folks, my name is Freyn and welcome to the M26 Pershing today. I've decided for this one I'm going to do it with post-commentary instead of live commentary. It's been quite a while since I've done that and I'm not sure exactly how well it'll go. Hopefully I can get some good information in there, explain a bit why I'm doing things, and preferably not just descend into a bit of play-by-play description. So, on we go. I'm on Normandy. As you can see, it is Britain, America against Russia. And it is, I believe, a full down tier here. So 6.3, top tier battle. Start off with a bit of artillery over on the far road, just using it as a spotting more than anything. Trying to see if I can tag anyone who might be rushing forwards. Pershing isn't quite the fastest vehicle around. It's decently mobile, but it's certainly not got the mobility that I would like going for the monument. However, the monument is the only position that I'm really used to on this map. I'm not much for brawling gameplay, so I try to avoid going into the buildings around the south side of the town. And so I always end up playing out here. I do need to try and work on some other areas of the map just to get myself used to them from when I'm driving a tank that's not best suited to it. But here you can see already something at the monument. Now I did see that player before he shot me, but it was a little too late to really pull back. He'd been sort of out of sight, or at least I hadn't noticed him until I'd started pushing up. It's a T-44, so mark him up. We've already got players who should be behind him any second now. Now I could move up across the beach to join them, but I feel like I need someone covering this centre area, making sure they don't just push across the top. So there's me and the M18 here. The M18 is being a little more aggressive than me. My intention at this point is to simply wait for the T-44 to get attacked from the other side, and then if needed I can push up into his back. Here I see an IS-2 though pushing to the church. Go for a little shot, and yeah, he's obviously around the corner. I couldn't see him anymore due to the post in front of me. Now, sometimes it is good to be aggressive. That M18, however, did end up dying to him. Sometimes I feel I'm overly cautious, I hold back too far, and I could do more to get into the game. There's no perfect way to do it, in my opinion. However, T-44 is down, so I'm going to start moving up now. Just about to see gunsmoke appearing down that road. The IS-2 behind the church has just been picked off, so here I'm now starting to finally move into position. A little far behind the rest of the team. I'm quite lucky there. Taking that shot and not dying. Terrible shot in return though. I really should have gone for his lower plate there. Going under the turret can quite often kill them, but not from head on like that. Off to the side it was a little too angled, so it was a poor shot. I'm going to tuck in now behind the monument.
Most of the strategic zones are captured.
Not necessarily, again, a great idea to go in reverse. I'm hoping I won't get shot in the back with that FE-4202 down there. But it was the quickest way rather than spending a while traversing my tank. They've started to push around, so this actually works out alright for me. The Pershing's got a decent acceleration in reverse, so I'm not too concerned. Now again, I'm not really taking a very active role here, not as much as I should. The Pershing does have decent armour, but it's not really armour that I like to rely on. So I'm just trying to sit with the position I know, keep this A-cap relatively covered, hold my ground, and stay safe where I can. Always checking every direction, especially back towards their spawn. There is something down on B though. So start heading out that way. Quick check on the corner, although really probably didn't matter, it would have been too late with the front half of my hull sticking out to be able to see around it properly. It would have been too late. Get a little indecisive here. I can see we've got an anti-aircraft moving to B and there's a plane just gone over. I thought maybe I could go up from above and snipe down, but the aircraft did take him out, so there's actually No need. And I start trying to turn around again. This is not really some of my greatest gameplay. This 43 at the end. No damage to these Zis 43. To hull break them, you really need to be in them in the engine, which was hidden around the corner, so not too much chance there. Moving back to the monument again. There are going to be several players on their team who know I've been here. It's maybe not the most sensible idea, but I'd like to stay where I'm most comfortable, just in order to get the most out of me as a player. There could be better spots to provide better cover of the cap, but this is the one that I'm most used to and can make the most of. So there's a T-34-85 pushing on, trying to aim ahead of him there, and just awkwardly clipped the front of his turret ring, only got 2 crew. But also oranged his breach, so there's a chance he might not be able to fire at me here. Choosing to go after him. There we go, he fired, blew himself up. No kill credit for me, unfortunately, but he is out. So now, ideally, need to recap A. I want to wait for the artillery to stop dropping first, and just back up to have a quick check on the corner. Double check, did that Zis 43 die? Can't see him in the log, not the immediate log at least, so let's back up. There's an SU down the road. Just throwing a quick 50 cal there to try and make it hard for him to shoot me. We've got someone on A. And sitting down here, I could see, as evidenced with this PT-76, I could see anyone trying to return from their spawn down this beach side. PT gets away. I shot a bit high and only got his turret. But no, he's there. He's unlikely to have gone too far. So I'm just coming down, trying to decide what to do. I'm not always the quickest thinker in the middle of a battle. I can see that clearly the Zis 43 is firing from somewhere down the end there. Unlikely to be able to see him, but just have a quick check. And just trying to keep an eye around me. See if I can find out where anything is without moving too far away from the A cap. That's the important part here. I don't want to go away from the cap. It's too easy for them to slip through in other ways. You can see we just lost a Pershing in the town to an IS-2, so I know there's one of those around. Frequently checking the scoreboard to try and see how many tanks are left. I want to know what shape our team is in, how aggressive I can be. Although I am a fairly cautious player, it's still nice to know. Don't see anything down the road, so considering slipping into town here until, there we go. Fortunately, it's PT-76 and he hit my barrel and my breach there. He didn't take any of my crew and I can kill him with 50 cals. Otherwise, I'd have been in pretty bad shape there. Didn't notice him at all initially as he was sloped up against the building like that. It's not really a shape you're looking for. You're expecting, you know, something sort of square or rectangular on the ground, not leaning up on an angle like that. So, not quite sure how he got himself into that position. But sit here, actually remarkably short repair time. I was quite surprised by that. Plane incoming. Not always the best idea to 50 cal at them. You might get lucky, you might cause them some critical damage, especially when they're that close. But at this stage it's more just because I've spent the entire day getting bombed and I really was not in the mood for it again, so I want to get rid of him as quickly as I can. Now, make a rather what could have been a costly mistake here. They have capped A, that's why I'm heading back up the hill. I know there's tanks up there, but I was so concerned about the aircraft that I stopped to machine gun him, and T-34-85 just almost got a shot on me there. Pretty sure if the SU-152 hadn't driven in front of him, he might have been able to take me out. But plant went into the back of the SU. T-34 starting to move, so I'm taking a chance. Could have gone very badly. I put myself in that spot by focusing on the plane. Obviously, in the end, it paid off, but it could have gone very badly. And I think it was not the right decision to make in overall. So now I'm returning back to my previous positions here, just trying to ambush, keep an eye down this beach road. I'm staying relatively close to A. I'm not quick enough to get back and stop a cap most of the time, which is a bit unfortunate. Maybe if I sat a bit further over behind the bunker. But it is close enough to stop enemies coming in. As you can see, saw the ISU over the top of that wreck. Dropped it back down with the Pershing's great reverse gear. He clearly has no idea I'm here. Pop him inside, sorry, SU-152, not ISU there. Now, we've stopped capping A and we're also losing B. So look over, see the IS-2. Shoot him in the side, and now time to start moving back up the hill towards A. I'd rather not cap it myself. I don't like having the great big sort of alarm bells of target over your head saying, here's a guy, look, he's static, but we do have to cap it. And although I don't particularly need the spawn points, which is another reason I rarely cap, someone's got to do it, and you know, it's about time I did it. So I'm going to move in, see a bit of movement over there, and stop up quickly. And there we go, T-3485 drives across instead. Just mark him up, make sure no one else drives into him. And let's see if I can get a shot. He shouldn't be able to hit me with how low his gun is to the ground. Just managed to get a shot over the top of the wreck into the corner. There's also ZSU-37 visible there. He's not really much of a threat to me. Not from the front, certainly, so pop him under the turret. Should get most of the crew. And it's also where a lot of the ammo is kept. The alternative is, of course, go for the engine shot. Try and get that hull break. With APHE, though, I feel like it's safer to go for the crew shot instead. Now, my time to recap though, seeing as they just managed to take it. Again, not what I really want to do, but I feel like I've got to make a better contribution to this. I don't need the cap points, I prefer to leave it for someone else, but we are losing tickets, and I want this game to be over, so stuck on behind the church. It's the safest place to try and cap. And try and keep my eyes in the direction of their spawn for any returning players. Unfortunately, the T-25 behind me just got knocked out by an IL-2, so I start looking up to try and take him out, anticipating another salvo of rockets or bombs coming my way. Certainly is now that I've lit him up. But that's not where the problem lies. Now initially, of course, that T-25 was covering my back, so I knew I was going to be safe from that direction. With the IL-2 taking him out, I didn't think to actually check behind me. It wouldn't have made a difference, I was still fully exposed. But yeah, it probably would have been better to look that way. There was unlikely to be anything coming from the north side, given we've got a tank there as well. Holding up on the fire extinguisher just in the hope that someone might be able to get him, and I ended up burning out instead. He has just died, obviously, but too late, I would have been out regardless. So let's move on to game 2. This is Berlin, also 6.3 full down tier. Currently pretty much every nation has got a good 6.3 lineup. Japan's is probably the worst, although still usable. So that's part of the reason I'm playing this, and it does tier very well. But I'm just coming up onto the hill, I'm trying not to go too far up that I'm very visible. And see something sticking its front around the corner, takes a shot. Was actually trying to aim slightly behind his track wheel, he must have turned into it. But that's a Panther down, and you can see there's still more players crossing. Having to use binoculars to actually snipe the little tree branches, barbed wire, etc. are all kind of blocking my vision. And I'm using the shell arc to drop down over the hill.
We've captured most of the
So,
strategic zone.
T-3485 out. Another one there. Just again, lining up with the binoculars. Sometimes get the height a bit wrong and it takes a couple of shots, but worked out there. There is a T-44 in the back. As you can see in sniper view, I can't actually see him, hence the binocular shooting. Now, I'm never quite sure where to go on Berlin these days. I used to always push down the water, but lately it's not been going well for me, so I've been trying out new spots, and one of them has been always on this hill, but that's not been working very well as well, so I'm tending to move down after a few early shots. I can see there's players dying around the back of the Reichstag, so just looking there, see where he shot from, and fire through the top layer of dirt after lining it up again with the binoculars. Just looking for those sort of muzzle flashes, looking for the smoke plumes to find out where tanks are. T-44 in the distance. Little high. And checking behind the building again, just to make sure no one else has come around. There's some movement. So now all attention is going to be focused over here. Now I do have some slight impatience issues here. You can see pulling up the binoculars to look, and no, he's already gone past. Just always that perfectly wrong timing to take my eye off the place I'm watching. But he's coming out, fortunately, so I can get another shot. Disappeared from view, so quick flash to the binoculars to make sure he renders again. I don't know why that's so buggy, but it does seem quite common. Now, I should reload before he gets his turret crew back, so I'm waiting a few seconds after the reload just to make sure his crew have swapped over again and I can kill him with another turret shot. We're roughly equal on players, but we don't have anyone near the cap. And again, this is where my problem with Berlin at the moment comes in. I'm never quite sure where to go. I'm trying to work it out. There's still a tank firing from up there. And as long as I've got targets, I'm choosing to just stay behind this hill. Sometimes I prefer this little bit off to the side instead of over the top, as with this sort of awkward bump at the back of the hill, it's not a smooth slope up there. Sometimes I find you just can't quite get where you want to be, hiding enough of your tank while still having the vision. Again, just having indecisiveness here, not sure where to go. I'm briefly considering moving over into the western ruins, try and get some shots across, but I don't really want to go in there alone. So instead, thinking maybe I could move it behind the Reichstag, and this is just kind of wasting time, and I'm not really doing anything. So again, not always the smartest plays here. But while I'm waiting, try and see how the battle plays out. I mean, at the very least, need to be trying to stop them from getting to the cap. There's one going across. Taking hits from aircraft, I think. But need to stop this Panther. Roll back into cover. Plane's coming back over, but it's not going for me anymore. And again, just trying to eliminate anything getting to the cap. We don't have anyone over there, and this is kind of a no man's land where no team's really got a great chance of getting out there, but we are gradually losing players. So I'm just sitting back, looking for any movement, for any sort of signs of life, trying to knock it out. little low on that shot. Hopefully the Black Prince will nail him. They shouldn't have too many big guns left, although there is a little rain sneaking around. And you can see we're losing more and more players.
The artillery is on the position.
We're on track for winning, but we need to protect that cap, and seeing as we've both just missed the Panther, he's likely to get in there, and I'm currently the best candidate to try and push onto the cap, being a top tier tank and probably one of the only mobile ones left. Especially with the Black Prince, the best armoured tank on the team, just having been bombed. So I've chosen to push up the eastern flank here. It's probably my safest route to the cap. I'm relatively in cover. The main worry is going to be anything over to the west. There's the Panther on the cap. This is probably a little too late for me now. I should have moved up earlier. It was never completely safe, but I should take a few more risks, and this is all learning for me as well. Every game you're always learning, always trying to see what you do wrong. Someone says there's a little rain to the left side of spawn. I can't see him in this low lighting, and I can't afford to stop. Obviously he knows where I am thanks to the aircraft. And there we go. There's the engine in the track. See movement, but all too little, too late. I've held on too long. So on to third battle, and Normandy again, trying to see if I can repeat that first one and hopefully not make this mistake I made in the second battle of being too cautious. So once more, pushing for the monument. Again, it is the place I'm most comfortable with. It's the place that I know I can do the best with, and therefore it's where I'm going to go. Tanks are not always suited to it, and that can be a mistake. But until I find somewhere else that I really like to play, it's still the best thing I personally can go for. Honestly, a large amount of this game is just finding that spot that works for you, the one that's comfortable for you. So the FV's not taking the monument, so I can start to move up to it. Bit of movement at the end of the road, so quick shot. Binoculars again, as the fence was mostly blocking my vision. Take out the Tiger. But the FV-422 died to a Tiger 2H, so rolling back down the slope
The enemy controls most of the
gives me just enough vision while reducing the amount of my tank that is visible. Quick peek, try and make sure there's nothing going down the coastal road. I don't want to be taken by surprise if I can avoid it. Just always keep an eye on your surroundings. Make sure you're not going to get caught off guard by anything. There is another tank moving up that road though. Little too low to be able to shoot him, but for whatever reason this ersatz M10 decided it would be a good idea to peek me. Not quite sure why he chose to do that. It's a centralized turret, so you're always going to have to expose a large amount of your tank before you can get the shot off. And he could tell that I was looking at him, or I should have been able to tell. There's a bit of movement down the central road. Now, I'm pretty sure that was a Tiger 1 that was peeking, but Tiger 2P that ends up taking the shot. And again, roll back down into the safety for the reload. Still one down that road. So I did see a Tiger 1, certain of that now. And again, just constantly checking the sides. Sometimes it ends up costing you as you don't get that shot off, like on the Berlin game with the ersatz coming through the gate. But the Tiger's been eliminated by the STRV. I can finally move up to the monument. Now, as I've repeated several times, staying in the comfort zone I think is really important. Quite often I'll be playing a tank that is actually quite decent at brawling, can afford to go into the cities, but I myself am not good at brawling. I don't enjoy brawling, so I would rather not take myself in there even if my vehicle's suited to it, and I think that's very important to remember. You often find, people will advise sort of this tank must be played this way, and I don't think that's quite accurate. I think tanks suit a certain playstyle, but you have to take in your own ability first. That's important to remember because that will restrict you far more than your tank. Quick shot on the IS-2 that was moving up. Been keeping an eye on him. Just over the top of the monument while staying hidden. There's a Tiger 2P moving across the beach. Again, always checking the surroundings. Just trying to wait for the shot on him here. See the barrel. He's not looking my way, so side of the turret is the flattest part. Get his breach. And Tiger 2s have a typically very long repair, a good sort of 30-40 seconds. Tried another sneaky shot but hit the ground, so now quick check around me, make sure I'm safe, and now it's time to go push that Tiger 2 while he's reloading. Should be able to make it down there. Not 100% certain, so I still need to play it cautiously. Trying not to overcommit. Obviously take me more time to climb back up. I'm behind him, he's not got his turret facing me, so again, flat side and finish him off. Could have shot his engine to set him on fire and make sure I interrupted his repair, but seeing as his gun wasn't facing me and I knew he was low on crew, turret side was still the best shot to go for. Now, my plan, as with that first battle at this stage, is to just roll backwards and forwards on this hill, keep an eye for anything coming down the road like this little gas truck there. Oh, sorry, it's this truck. Missed his engine, so I didn't quite get the hull break, but finish him off with the 50 kills pretty quickly. Now, that is the last kill for this game, and pretty much ties the game up overall. So now I'm just moving up to these buildings ahead. I'm just going to sit and wait. They've only got 3 players left. I'm not anticipating any big problems, so just taking a spot that can cover the route out of their spawn, and I'm just going to sit and wait. So that's going to be the end of the video now. I hope the post commentary's been alright for you. The video's gone on a little longer than I anticipated, as there was no major downtime which I've ended up clipping out. It's been the entire battles, obviously. I might start doing the post commentary a little more often. It depends on whether I get the footage. I have to be a little more selective when I'm trying to do post commentary, I find. It's part of the reason I started shifting to live. But we'll see. Either way, I hope it's been enjoyable for you. I hope it's been of some use. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.